everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Jennifer, and today we are going to be taking a look at the new Hermes products. I do have the Hermes blush in rose tan on my eyelids right now. I have a little bit of liner and a little bit of mascara, just like a little bit, because I think these products are going to be pretty light. We'll find out. We'll use the rose tan blush after we put the products on. So let me pull my hair back. We'll start with the Hermes. I'm not going to pronounce it correctly right now, and I don't have the time, unfortunately, to look up the right pronunciation, but it is the Natural Enhancing Complexion Balm. I have this in coquillage. I guess the L's wouldn't be too harsh. And we'll put that all over the face. As I said, I have the rose tan on my eyelids. I'll use that as blush. My skin is a little irritated right now. I think it's stress. I'm one of those people, you know, there's just been so much going on, obviously, across the world. If you hadn't seen my Instagram posts, my grandmother's family is Ukrainian and fled Ukraine, and even if you don't have, even if you're not of Ukrainian descent, situation is just horrific, and those poor people. So that. In addition to just work, has been very, very stressful, and there's just other stuff going on that I can't talk about right now. And so you really can't tell when I'm stressed. Like, I don't have any real telltale signs. I'm not like an emotional eater. I actually don't. I'm one of those people who's like, I'm never hungry. I don't have a working thyroid. So it's not that. I don't, do any of that stuff. I do have a tendency to over shop. I always stay in my budget. I grew up in New England. We're very frugal here. But I don't ever go outside my budget, but I do buy things like all at once, which is why you saw all those products. And thanks to all of you for helping me pick what to go first and all that. But my skin does get, I think because of the rosacea, it does get redder and it does get more irritated. So yeah, it's more irritated. So I think this is going to be a really interesting test today, because this tint, again, I just got it. It looks sheer. I tried it on the back of my hand and I was like, huh, interesting. So anyway, shade 10 comes in this bottle. And for me, and I said it on my, I think I said it on Instagram, Hermes has been hit or miss for me. Some things I really love, some things just, not my thing. Okay, so let's try the Natural Enhancing Complexion Balm. Let's try on the back of the hand first. It's very thick. Of the shades that were available, I think this is the right shade for me. It's the right intensity, and I think the right undertone. I didn't rub it in, obviously. I wanted to just see the shade. There we go. Takes a little bit for my camera to adjust. Okay, let me bring you in a little closer so you can see all this up close. All right, so let's take what's on the back of my hand, because why waste it? And then we'll put more on. When I do a tinted moisturizer, tinted skin tint, whatever you want to call it, I use my hands. I always use my fingers. It's just, that's just how I do it. It's not, I don't have a good explanation today, but this is how I do it. So I'm gonna do it like that. I feel like a sponge it's gonna take up most of the product, and skin tint doesn't have that much coverage anyway, even the ones that have more than others. And a brush is just, I don't know, I feel like it shouldn't be needed for, for skin tint. Now for once, I actually have eye products on. Usually I do eyes, usually I do face first. It has a scent. I don't know what that is, but okay. Gotta be careful of my brows. Well, I'll say this. Because my skin is very irritated right now, you can tell that it made a difference. Because my skin's not great right now. So it did that. It did something. I mean, there's no coverage, because you saw it before and you see it now. It's more uniform, I think is the best way to describe it. I'm gonna just take a little bit more. If I ever get a chance and time to do more lasers. I used to do lasers. If you haven't watched me before, I've talked about it. I used to do lasers all the time, different types of lasers, more intense, you know, more all over ones. And, you know, since the pandemic, I have not done that, but mask mandates are lifted as of the 5th, I think, here in Boston. So I can go back in and get my lasers done again. Okay. I mean, it did, look, my skin, you saw it. It was a little blotchy. And it does cover that. The one thing I'll say though, is it doesn't feel particularly moisturizing. So for those of you who haven't watched, I'm about to be 50. My skin is dry. I have rosacea, obviously. I'm looking in my like 10x mirror, and it looks dry, which is interesting because that doesn't usually happen with a tinted moisturizer. Like it's sticking. I have some dry patches right here. The other thing that it could be other than stress is I've been trying out skin products for all you guys, and I incorporated a product. I took out a product for a while because I felt like it was irritating my skin, and I put it back in, and yep, it's irritating my skin. And it's not a particularly potent product. It's, you know, it's, anyway. So yeah, I have some dry patches, which this just stuck to. I don't know if the camera can really pick it up, but I can tell you, like, it's right here. So just on first take, I don't love the finish. Like the YSL New and the Say Slip Tint are fantastic. They always look great on my skin. Now again, I'm drier, so if you're more oily, you might like this. The Chanel No. 1, excellent. I mean, I did even out my skin tone. My skin tone, like I said, was you saw it, it's very red. Now it's not as red. It evened it out. It's the right shade for me. And I'm not saying I wouldn't use this, but it is sticking to dry spots. And the finish doesn't look particularly fabulous. And I've said this about Hermes before. There are a lot of products that Hermes have that I think are good. And I'm like, oh, it's good. But for the price you're paying, this better be phenomenal. And it doesn't seem to be. SPF of 30. Just seeing if it says anything. Fine natural luminous finish. Unified complexion, hydrated, protected skin. It's not a luminous finish, guys. At least not on me. I mean, again, dry skin, but that's not luminous. I think it did a decent job covering up my redness because my skin is, like I said, unhappy with me, but it's not luminous. So let's try the glow powder and the, why my brain? The Radiant Matte Powder. So that's going to be interesting over this. My skin is already dry and irritated, and okay, well, we'll see what happens. So we've got the Radiant Matte Powder in 01 Nuage, and the Radiant Glow Powder in 02 Mirage. And they do come in the traditional Hermes boxes. They have the box like this. They do not have the burlap cases that the lipsticks do, but the packaging is the same as the packaging as the blushes. I'll tell you right now, that's going to confuse me because I'm going to go to reach for something and be like, is that a blush? Is that a powder? What is that? Let's take a look at it next to the highlighter. So the 01 Permabrass highlighter, again, same packaging as the blush, and now the same why is my camera doing that? Same packaging as the blush, same packaging as the matte powder. I wish they had, like, I understand they couldn't, they have the white tops and the gold. I wish they had put like something around the middle like they do with the lipsticks to have a different color block that would indicate whether it was a highlighter, powder, blush. Anyway, my own little ranting. Okay, so this was the Permabrass. What I said about this is that the highlighter works fine. There's nothing wrong with the highlighter. And it actually gives a beautiful highlight, but it's the wrong undertone for me. It's just too brassy. And so let's look at it next to the 02 Mirage, the Radiant Glow Powder. It looks cooler. We'll see. It doesn't have the embossing on it. Let's swatch it. That feels nice. Like I said, the highlighter was fine. It's just that it was really the wrong shade. Yeah, it's definitely cooler. Okay, so this is the Glow Powder, the new one in Mirage, and this is the Permabrass. You can see it's quite a bit cooler. What it will look like on the skin, you know, we'll see, but it's definitely a cooler shade. Let's see if this shows up at all. Oh, a little. It's you know, my skin is so pale. All right, so the new one is cooler, but it's also less pigmented. It's more shimmer. This has, well, this is a highlighter and this is a glow powder. So I would argue, and I could be wrong, but one is a Radiant Glow Powder and the other one is a Radiant Matte Powder. So maybe the idea is if you're looking for a matte finish, you go with the matte powder. If you're looking for a radiant finish, you go with the glow powder, right? It's got a satin glow, right? Because it's not a highlighter. Okay, that's what I'm going with. I could be wrong, I don't know. All right, so yeah, I'm going with the fact that this is meant to be an all over glow. This is meant to be a highlighter. And then the matte is meant to be a mattifying powder. Again, I don't know if that's true, but that would make sense to me. Otherwise, they would have called it a highlighter. They say refillable, second skin powder, satin glow is the Mirage, and then translucent powder, luminous matte. Yeah, I think that's the idea. Like one is meant to be more of an all over glow, which is what I would use because my skin is not glowy. And then this is a matte. That's how I would use it. I'm not telling you that's how they designed it, but that's how I would use it. All right, so the way you pronounce Hermes, P-L-E-I-N, air is...
Plein. Plein.
I'm never gonna be able to do it.
Plein.
Plein, I think, is close. And its meaning is full. So, Hermes full air. I guess that kind of makes some sense, sort of, like full of air. I'm not sure, but I guess the idea is it's light and it's airy. Okay, that's how I'm gonna interpret. Let's do this. Let's use the blush and the highlighter that I already have, the Permabrass, and I'll use Rose Tan on my face. And then I'll do one side with the glow powder and one side with the matte powder. Let's see if that works, because that's the way I would interpret this. And since it's makeup and I am allowed to interpret it any way I want, that's what I'm going with. All right, so I'm gonna take the Permabrass. I'm gonna go in very lightly with this because like I said, it's a good highlighter, guys. I've said it, if you haven't watched the video when I did on this, it's not that I don't think it's a good highlighter. I do think it's actually quite highlighting. My issue with it is that it's the wrong shade and it accentuates my texture on my skin. And I don't have that much texture on my skin. So I'm always like, okay. So I just don't reach for it. I just don't. The blushes, however, I think are good. It's not that I don't like the blushes. The blushes, I was kind of soured on the blushes because they were supposed to be refillable and you really can't refill them. So there was all these, you know, refills and this hole in the back that's like, oh, you can refill these, and then people tried to refill them and basically you broke it. So the product's good. The colors are nice, but there's other blushes that I use that honestly I think are better and cheaper, and I was annoyed. I admit it. I was annoyed by the whole, you know, oh, you can refill them. Oh, no, you can't. I'm like, okay, you know what? No. All right, so for powder, I'm gonna use, this is the Chikuhodo F1 brush, F01 brush, one of my favorite brush lines. They, I have 1 through 7? No, it's 1 through 8, I think. 9, 10, and 11. Or yeah, I think 9, 10, and 11 I don't have. 10 and 11 are relatively new, or it's 9 and 10, I can't really remember right now. And they've just come out, and I've actually thought about buying them. If you're interested, you know, I'll let you know. All right, so let's do the glow first. I feel like this is how, you know, if there's a glow powder and a matte powder, I just feel like, okay, well, maybe this is meant for those of us who want that all over glow, especially since the tinted moisturizer is very drying. Yeah, that does impart a beautiful glow, and it's actually, I'm looking at my 10X mirror, it's not too much. Like, it's not, I don't look all of a sudden greasy. I mean, again, my skin's dry. But yeah, it looks like a beautiful all over glow. It reminds me a little bit of the Candlelight from Chantecaille. Can you see, especially in here, how I have that glow? See that glow? It's not over here as much. Not where the permabras is, but like in here. So the way I'd probably use the glow is I'd use it over my cheekbones, on my nose, and here. So broader than a highlighter, but I could also use it all over my face, because I really do think that imparts, if you look at it this way, a nice all over glow. See? Yeah, it warms up my skin a little bit too, but not too much. Okay, that actually looks quite nice. If that's what it's being used for. As a highlighter, and again, it doesn't say highlighter, it says powder. As a highlighter, as you saw on my swatches, it's very pretty. It's just that it's so sheer that it's a very subtle highlight, like super subtle. Which, you know, actually for someone like me works fine, because I do that a lot. I do super subtle highlights. So let's try the matte on this side. Same brush, I just wiped it off on a microfiber towel. Oh yeah, you can tell a difference. Okay, interesting. Okay, that side. That side. Oh yeah, you can definitely tell a difference, especially when I do it like that. This is warmer because of the all over glow has a little bit of warmth, like a little bit of peach. And this side, it is madder and it is cooler. Can you see it? It's subtle, it's not drastic, but I think you can see it. I can see it. Huh. Okay. Okay. I mean, I'm unlikely to use this powder, this matte powder. I rarely mattify my skin. But you know where I could use this is the same place that I use like a Charlotte Tilbury or something, where I do get now oily here and like around my nose a little bit by the end of the day, especially depending on the foundation that I wear. I could use that for that. Absolutely, because it does not make my skin look worse. It actually looks better. I think it actually looks better than it did with the tinted moisture by itself. So the powder's nice. I don't know if it's worth that's a different question, but you know, these are first impressions, guys. I have to wear it more than that, and I want to wear it outside, see what it looks like in the sunlight, because this is under studio light. Outside makes a heck of a difference. You look at it outside and you're like, that does not look like I thought it looked. But here's my thoughts just on this right now. The glow powder, I really like. I like this. I think the shade is pretty. It's like a peach almost. It's like a peachy glow. And it's subtle. It's not drastic. It's a very, I'm gonna like put a bunch on the back of my hand so you can see if you can see it. It's a very subtle glow. I think as a highlighter, you could use it as a highlighter, but it would have to be a super build. There it is. Okay. So it would have to be a super build as a highlighter because it is so subtle. However, as an all-over glow, I think it does do exactly that. And with a different tinted moisturizer or foundation, I think it might look quite nice. I think the reason it doesn't look quite nice is because this tinted moisturizer is drying, which doesn't make any sense because it said it was a luminous finish. But anyway, we'll go there. The matte powder actually looks quite good. It doesn't look, it didn't make the foundation, the tinted moisturizer, whatever it is, it didn't make it look worse. In fact, I think it made it look better. This side looks like the texture is a little bit more accentuated because this matte, I think, brought down the texture a little bit, and a glow brings it out a little bit more. But the fault isn't in the powders, really, I don't think. I think the fault, in my opinion, is in this tint. I'm sorry, Complexion balm. Okay. The shade is right. The shade is good. Yeah, I just, I don't know. I don't love it. How's that? The powders I like far more than the balm. Okay, let me put on the, this is the beige dough lipstick, shiny lipstick. If you're still on the fence about the Hermes lips, I would say they are, in my opinion, far better than the previous lip enhancers that Hermes had. But I think that's because I like this formula. It's shiny. I like a shiny balm. And the beige dough is the most not their shade. The other shades have definite pigment. This one does not. It's very, very light. I like it and it's perfect for me, but I am pale. So if you're looking for something with more pigment, I'd go with the other two. So final thoughts. I will keep using it. I will keep trying it. I'll try to, I always try to do this. I'll try to use the balm as my skin gets a little bit better. I'm going to nourish it. I'm going to do lots of La Mer treatments over the next couple of days and Chantecaille masks. And hopefully I can get my skin back to where it was about 5 days ago. And we'll use the balm and we'll try it again. At the moment though, the shade's right. The consistency is fine. I actually think it gave me enough coverage for a balm. Because again, this isn't even a tinted moisturizer. This is a balm. And when I see balm, I almost see clear. You know what I mean? Like that's how my mind goes. So that's okay. That's kind of what I expected. It actually gave me more coverage than I thought it was going to. The fact that my skin looks like it's sitting on the dry skin, which is odd for a balm, right? I think. Powders. So I think one's Radiant Matte, one's Radiant Glow. I think the idea is this is more of a mattifying powder. This is a more glow powder, which is exactly what it did. But the matte is actually more radiant than matte. It actually looks quite nice. When I first said, you know, I'm not going to use this because it's matte, I am rethinking that as I continue to look in the mirror because actually it looks quite nice. Now it'll depend on how it wears. On dry skin and older skin, matte powders can settle into lines and they make, at least I feel like they make me look older. It's one of the reasons I don't love a matte powder. But this is a radiant matte powder, so maybe I won't do that. At the moment, looks lovely. I like the glow. Reminds me of the Chantecaille Candlelight. So it's a mixed first impression, which is kind of where I thought we might be. There you go, guys. I will have more. I will, like I said, I really do try to do like recap videos. A couple weeks down the road, I've done that with all the new releases that have come out. There's been so many that it's hard to keep up, but I will continue. And if you have any specific questions about Hermes and you want to know or compare it to anything, let me know. I can certainly do, and I plan to do it just for my own edification, the difference between this balm and other balms I use, but I can tell you right now, between the Yves Saint Laurent New and the Say tint, which are my favorites, this isn't anywhere close to that. Those are dewy and they look phenomenal and I love them. This one is okay at the moment. So that's the best I got. All right. Thanks so much for joining me today, guys. I really do appreciate it. Hope to see you in another video really soon. Bye.